y'all, I'm Elisa and I am the Scrappy Wife behind ScrappyWife.com, and today I have a Bible journal process video for you. I am working through the devotional Worthy of the Gospel from By the Well for God, written by Christina Lowry, who is Christina's Alive over on Instagram, so make sure to give her a follow. I am on day one, just jumping in, and what we're talking about is, what is the gospel? Why do we need the gospel? That is kind of the basis. She's setting the stage for the rest of the devotional. And so I'm anxious to jump in and journal for day one. There are a bunch of scriptures because, of course, setting up the meaning of the gospel and why we need it is laid out throughout the Bible. I'm actually going to focus on Romans 5, specifically Romans 5, 6 through 8, where it says, "For while we were still helpless at the right time, Christ died for the ungodly. For rarely will someone die for a just person, though for a good person, perhaps someone might even dare to die. But God proves his own love for us in that while we were still sinners, Christ died for us." So I'm going to use that as the basis of my journaling page. You can see that I have some bleed through to work through. This was from the 2020 devotional. Loved using the sprays, but they did go through, so I'm going to work through that. I have already fussy cut some of these pieces out of one of the coordinating scrapbook papers that is available to go with the kit, and we will just see where it goes. I will put you all on fast forward. I will definitely link everything below if you're interested in checking out any of these products. Otherwise, let's go. I'm going to begin with a tried and true process of paint scraping, and all you have to do is take some acrylic paint, put it on the end of an old credit card or gift card. I have a piece of a cutting board cut up right here, and then just scrape it along your page. And while it is still wet, I'm using a couple of different colors from the Handmade Modern line at Target, and the pink there is actually a shimmer, so it'll create kind of a cool contrast with the texture. And I'm using it to cover up the bulk of that bleed through and that shadowing that is from the opposite page. Now I'm taking the big background stamp that came with the stamp set, and I'm actually going to use acrylic paint on this stamp. This is another way to get even more use out of your stamps, just trying some different techniques. All I'm doing is lightly brushing on some acrylic paint on this stamp. It's not going to give a really crisp image, and that's okay. I just want the impression of words in the background. I want the layering feel, so you can see working it right there. I'm pushing pretty hard just because I want to make sure some of the paint comes off, and it's uneven, the application, but I love how it looks. It's perfect for creating your background. So now I'm just adding a little bit more, and then I will end up shifting my page a little bit so I can get it on a harder surface, and I will add it to the lower half of the page. After you do this, you want to go wash your stamp immediately. So I took it straight to the sink and washed it off, got all of that acrylic paint off with actually an old toothbrush. While that is drying, I have some brown paper here from an old paper bag, and I'm going to use it to create kind of a floral bunch. So think of like wrapped paper flowers. That's what I'm going for. And the concept here is that the gospel has so much more wrapped into it than the sacrifice of Jesus. I don't want to say just the sacrifice of Jesus, because obviously that is just amazing and amazing to talk about. But the gospel has a lot wrapped into it, and that is what this opening of the devotional was talking about, trying to give us a deeper impression, a deeper meaning behind the gospel, so that we can understand why it is important to continue to look at our lives and examine our lives and see how we can live a life that is even more worthy of the amazing gifts God has given us. So I fussy cut these florals out of some of the coordinating paper, and you can see I just attached them to some paper scraps, and I'm going to create my own little floral bunch. And I've never been great at floral arrangements in real life, but playing with them with paper is a lot of fun. So my little paper wrapped fresh florals, so fun. And then I even fussy cut these heart strips out of a different paper that came in the coordinating kit, and they're my little sprigs of like baby's breath or whatever, the sprigs that add a little dimension. So I'm just sticking them all in here. I am so in love with how this little cute addition came out, and what I end up doing is taking it over to my sewing machine and running it through a couple of times to secure all of those pieces in place. So you can see I ran it through the sewing machine, and now I'm going to actually pick up some twine. I have my craft room, and I will tie it up with twine, just like an actual little bouquet of fresh flowers. And it is such a fun addition to the page. I highly recommend trying this. You can stamp out the flowers, you can fussy cut them. There are lots of florals that have been in By the Well for God kits in the past. So there's lots to choose from, and look at how cute that's going to be on my page. I'm super pleased with it. It is quite a large piece, so you can certainly size it down. Now I'm looking through the different die cuts that come with the kit to see what I can kind of nestle around it. I love these wreaths that came with the kit with the apples and a place to write. I think that is awesome. So I'm just going through all the die cuts. I love the little male, and it has the sprigs of the heart, so I kind of wanted to bring that in. And then the arrow is going to point to a little journaling spot down there. So I'm just kind of feeling out where I can put things, how it's all going to work out, because of course that floral piece is really big, and so it dominates the page. So all of these are going to kind of hide behind that piece, just nestled in there, just to give it a little bit more interest on the page. My dilemma ends up being that the floral bouquet is so big, it obviously goes off the page over there on the right. But I'm going to have to tilt it even more because I really want that welcome sign to show here at the bottom. I don't want it to be covered up, and I didn't want it to go on top of the floral bouquet. So it ends up having to be tilted a little bit more than I had anticipated, but that's okay. It goes off the page, not too bad. So I actually end up not even cutting off the extra flowers. If it bothers me later on, I might end up doing that, but no need to do it right now. So have all my pieces nestled down. I'm using a mix of my ATG, the adhesive tape glider, and my Tombow. Sometimes my Tombow adhesive is a little bit easier to work on the smaller pieces than my big old pink glider gun. So getting all of that nestled there, and then I'll end up coming back with some alpha stickers. I love the block tile alphas, you guys know that, and I will try to figure out how I'm going to add some of my journaling with stickers, and then I actually end up finding a secret spot to hide some other journaling, some more personal journaling that I wanted to add in. As I'm working on those stickers and adding some more titles, this was a hard devotional for me, because when you're talking about the gospel and talking about worthy of the gospel, of course none of us are worthy of the sacrifice of Jesus. We're all sinners, but that's part of the love of Christ, is that while we were still sinners, he came to rescue us, and we didn't have to do anything to earn it. And I think that's going to be, as we jump into this devotional from By the Well for God and written by Christina, it's not that Christina is telling us we have to earn our salvation, because that certainly isn't what is written in the Bible, but it is such a tremendous gift. And when someone gives you a gift of salvation, of life-changing hugeness, it should change your life. There should be reflections of that in how you live your life. And so I think that is the focus. And so I am writing a few pieces here. I am putting out, why do we need it? Like, why are we in need of the gospel? And that is what most of the Old Testament is setting us up for. You know, God gave the laws, and they were impossible to follow. And so he set it up for why we needed Jesus to come. And then I love over there on the right with the arrow, it says, all are welcome. And later on, you'll see me actually add the word here. All are welcome here. You know, all were offered this gift of salvation. All of us were sinners, and it's something important to remember that the gift of the gospel is available to all people. I am super obsessed with the stickers this month. I love the phrases. So I have the phrase of the gospel up there, and then I'm going to choose those clear alphas, and I will put out the words are we. And I'm using some tweezers that one of my awesome subscribers gave me. Thank you, Nancy. And they work fabulous for putting on these alphas, for pulling them off the page and getting them onto your page straight, because I used to just use my fingers and they would end up all wonky, and I thought that's just the way it was. But really, having a pair of tweezers, craft tweezers, any kind of tweezers to help you kind of work those alphas will be really beneficial in the future. So I'm adding the phrase are we, and then of course the sticker that says of the gospel, and then I will use the alpha tiles right there in a contrasting color to add the word worthy. So it will say, are we worthy of the gospel? And then, of course, why do we need it? And all are welcome. And I have that little hidden journaling spot that is going to be within the bouquet, kind of like the bouquet of flowers, the card that would come with a bouquet of flowers. And that's where I'll end up adding my journaling and then tucking it in there, because I had some thoughts on the devotion and on Christ's sacrifice that I definitely wanted to include, but didn't necessarily want them out for all the pictures and things like that. Now, one of the bonus goodies that came in the kit were these words, which are awesome and perfect for the tops of your pages. So I go through a couple and I end up choosing the word worthy. Love that it brings in the orange on the page, and of course that's what the subject of the page is, and I'm able to kind of reuse that ribbon tab that I used on the back of the page to really highlight this page. I wrote my journaling off camera and I'm just tucking it in right there, and then I'll add a date and of course take some time to underline the verses that I was focusing on, and then this page is done. If you liked this video, please give it a thumbs up and consider hitting that subscribe button as well as the bell notification button. I have all of the products and supplies listed down below, so make sure to check out those affiliate links. They really go a long way to supporting this channel. And I also have a link to sign up for my email list. I send out a newsletter every couple weeks with crafty tips and organization talk, so make sure to check that out. I hope that you have a fabulous day, and as always, keep it creative.